Jake Morrison walked into the great hall of the Galactic Council with slow steps. His black suit looked plain next to the bright colors and strange shapes of the alien beings around him. The ceilings stretched high above them all, covered in lights. That looked like stars. Hundreds of different species sat in their special seats, each one made for their unique bodies. Dr. Lisa Parker followed behind Jake, carrying a small data pad in her hands. She had worked with humans for 30 years, studying alien technology and learning their ways. Today felt different from all the other meetings they had attended. Today felt final. The hall grew quiet as Jake reached the center speaking area. Chairman Vextar, a tall being made of living crystal, looked down at him from the highest seat. The crystal being's body sparkled with blue and green lights that showed his mood. Right now, the lights looked bored and tired. Ambassador Morrison, Vextar's voice rang through the hall like breaking glass. What does Earth wish to discuss today? Jake looked around the huge space. He saw the Zephyrian delegates with their gray skin and large black eyes. The Altarians sat nearby, their red fur bright under the artificial lights. The Vraxians whispered to each other with their long, snake-like tongues. None of them looked interested in what he might say. Chairman Vextar, honored delegates, Jake began in a clear voice. I come before you today to announce that humanity will no longer be part of the Galactic Council. We are ending all treaties, trade deals, and partnerships with your organization. The hall remained quiet for a moment. Then small conversations started among the aliens. Some laughed. Others seemed confused. Most just looked annoyed that their time was being wasted. Vextar's crystal body flashed yellow, showing mild interest. This is unexpected, Ambassador Morrison. May we ask why humanity has made this choice? Jake had practiced this speech many times. We have learned much from our time with the Council. We are grateful for the knowledge you have shared. However, we believe it is time for humanity to find its own path among the stars. Trade Minister Kolnax from Zephyr stood up in his seat. His gray skin looked darker than usual. This is foolish. Humans cannot survive without Council support. Your people need our technology, our trade routes, our protection. We understand your concerns, Jake replied calmly. But our decision is final. We will honor all existing contracts until their natural end dates. After that, humanity will operate independently. Dr. Parker watched the alien faces carefully. She had studied their expressions and body language for decades. The Altarian military commander, General Raxborn, looked pleased rather than worried. His red fur stood up slightly, which meant he was happy. Losing Earth's small military contribution did not concern him. The Vraxian science minister, Dr. Silthera, barely moved at all. Her long body remained coiled in her seat. She probably thought humans were too simple to develop anything useful on their own. The Council had always treated humanity like children who needed guidance. Very well, Chairman Vextar said, his crystal body returning to its normal blue color. The Council accepts Earth's withdrawal. We wish humanity success in their future endeavors. Jake bowed slightly. Thank you, Chairman. Dr. Parker and I will collect our belongings from the embassy quarters. We will depart within the week. As they walked out of the great hall, Lisa could hear the aliens already talking about other business. The Zephyrians were discussing new mining rights in the Outer Rim. The Altarians wanted to expand their military bases. The Vraxians planned to take over the research stations that humans had been managing. None of them seemed worried about losing humanity as a partner. None of them asked why humans would give up the safety and benefits of council membership. None of them wondered what humans might do on their own. Back in their embassy quarters, Jake and Lisa began packing their personal items. The rooms had been their home for 5 years. Pictures of Earth hung on the walls. Books written in human languages filled the shelves. A small garden in the corner grew plants from their home world. "They really don't care that we're leaving," Lisa said, as she wrapped her research notes in protective cloth. 30 years of partnership, and they act like we never mattered." Jake folded his diplomatic uniforms carefully. "That's exactly what we hoped for. If they thought we were important, they might try to stop us or keep watching us." Lisa smiled as she remembered the secret meetings back on Earth. The plan had been in development for over 50 years. Every piece of alien technology that humans had received was studied, improved, and perfected in hidden laboratories. Every trade agreement taught them about galactic economics. Every cultural exchange revealed alien weaknesses and strengths. Council thought they were helping a primitive species learn to survive in space. They never realized that humans were actually conducting the largest intelligence operation in galactic history. Every human diplomat, trader, scientist, and worker had been gathering information and sending it back to Earth. "Do you think they'll ever figure it out?" Lisa asked as she sealed her research materials in shipping containers. "Eventually," Jake replied, "but by then it will be too late. Captain Williams should already be leading the first colony ships to the new systems. Dr. Foster's team will have the advanced manufacturing facilities online within 6 months. The evacuation of the outer colonies started 3 months ago." Lisa looked out the window at the busy spaceport. Alien ships came and went constantly, carrying goods and passengers across the galaxy. Soon, human ships would be traveling to places the Council had never seen. They would build cities on worlds the Council had never discovered. They would develop technologies the Council thought were impossible. "I almost feel sorry for them," Lisa said softly. "They have no idea what's coming." Jake joined her at the window. "They had their chance to treat us as equals. Instead, they kept us as junior partners, gave us the worst territories, charged us the highest fees, and expected us to be grateful for their scraps." The next morning, Jake and Lisa took their final shuttle flight away from the Council station. The pilot, a young Altarian named Kexmore, made conversation during the journey. "Where will you go now?" he asked. "Back to Earth?" "Yes," Jake lied, smoothly. "Back home to retire and write our memoirs." Kexmore nodded. "It must be hard to leave space travel behind, but humans are not really built for life among the stars. You will be happier on your home world." Lisa bit her tongue to keep from laughing. If only he knew that humans were already building starships that could cross the galaxy faster than anything the Council possessed. If only he knew that human colonies were sprouting on dozens of worlds beyond Council space. If only he knew that. The primitive species he was talking to had already solved engineering problems that had stumped alien scientists for centuries. As their shuttle approached the human transport ship waiting at the edge of Council space, Jake sent a coded message. "To Earth. Mission complete. Package delivered. Returning home." The reply came back quickly. "Welcome home. New adventure begins tomorrow." Jake smiled as he looked back at the Council station growing smaller behind them. The aliens were probably already dividing up humanity's former territories and resources. They were probably congratulating themselves on getting rid of a troublesome species that asked too many questions and followed too few rules. They had no idea that they had just lost the most valuable partners they had ever had. They had no idea that the primitive humans were about to become their greatest competitors. They had no idea that by dismissing humanity, they had created the very threat they should have feared most. The transport ship jumped to hyperspace, carrying Jake and Lisa toward Earth. Behind them, the Council continued its daily business, unaware that everything was about to change. Commander Alex Chen stood on the bridge of his patrol ship, watching the empty space where human cargo vessels used to travel. 6 months had passed since Earth withdrew from the Galactic Council, and space felt different now. The trade routes that once buzzed with human merchant ships were quiet and empty. His partner, Officer Krellnox, slithered across the deck with her long Vraxian body. Her scales changed color from green to yellow, showing her confusion. It has been 180 days since we last detected a human vessel in this sector, she said in her hissing voice. This seems unusual, even for a species in withdrawal. Alex checked his scanner readings again. Before the withdrawal, at least 20 human ships passed through this area every day. They carried food from Earth's agricultural colonies, raw materials, from mining stations, and manufactured goods from industrial worlds. Now there was nothing. Maybe they really did go home to sulk, Alex said, though something felt wrong about the whole situation. Some species take decades to get over losing. Council membership. Far from the patrol routes, Captain Beth Williams guided her ship through a nebula that most aliens considered too dangerous to explore. The thick purple clouds hid her vessel from any scanners that might be watching. Behind her, a convoy of 50 ships followed in perfect formation. These were not the slow, clunky vessels that humans had shown the Council for decades. These ships were sleek and fast, built with improved versions of every alien technology that humans had secretly studied. Their hulls were stronger than anything the Council used. Their engines were twice as efficient as the best Altarian designs. Their weapons could punch through shields that aliens thought were impenetrable. Colony Ship New Hope, this is Beth Williams. She spoke into her communication device. We have reached the target system. Begin landing procedures for the first wave of colonists. The response came back immediately. Confirmed, Captain Williams. 20,000 colonists ready for deployment. The construction teams have already prepared the basic infrastructure. Beth smiled as she watched the beautiful blue-green world spinning below them. The planet had perfect air, rich soil, and vast oceans full of life. According to their surveys, it could support 50 million humans without any terraforming. The Council had never bothered to explore this far from their established territories. While Beth's people began building their new home, Dr. Ryan Foster worked in a secret research station hidden in an asteroid field. The facility looked like a normal mining operation from the outside, but inside, it contained the most advanced laboratories in the galaxy. Ryan stood before a massive computer screen showing the results of his latest experiment. After 30 years of study, his team had finally cracked the secret of faster-than-light communication without using expensive quantum relay networks. The breakthrough would change everything. Dr. Foster, his assistant, Linda Hayes, called from across the lab. The manufacturing facility on Kepler Station just came online. They're ready to begin production of the new drive systems. Ryan nodded, with satisfaction. Excellent. How many ships can they produce per month? At current capacity, about 50 vessels. But once the additional facilities are completed, we should be able to build over 300 ships per month. 300 ships per month. The entire Council combined could barely produce half that number. And these would not be ordinary ships. They would be vessels that could travel farther, fight harder, and explore deeper than anything aliens had ever seen. Back on the patrol routes, Commander Chen received a strange report from a Zephyrian merchant captain. The gray-skinned alien appeared on Chen's communication screen, his large black eyes showing worry. "Commander Chen, I must report something unusual," the merchant said. "I was delivering supplies to the human colony on Kepler-7, but when I arrived, the entire settlement was empty." Alex leaned forward in his chair. "Empty? What do you mean?" The buildings were still there, but no humans remained. The power systems were shut down. The communication arrays were silent. It was as if everyone had simply vanished. This was the fourth report of abandoned human colonies in the past month. Alex had assumed that humans were just consolidating their populations on their core worlds, but now he wondered if something else was happening. "Did you scan for any signs of struggle or conflict?" Alex asked. "No signs of battle. No damage to the structures. Everything was clean and organized, as if the humans had planned their departure carefully." After the merchant signed off, Krell Knox coiled her body into a thinking position. "This pattern is strange, Alex. Humans do not simply abandon functional colonies. They are too practical for such waste." Alex pulled up a map showing all reported human activity in the past 6 months. Red dots marked the locations where human ships had been spotted. Green dots showed colonies that were still active. Yellow dots indicated settlements that had gone silent. The pattern was clear once he looked at it properly. Human activity was not decreasing randomly. It was moving systematically toward the edge of known space, away from Council territories and into unexplored regions. "They're not sulking," Alex said quietly. "They're leaving. Really leaving." Meanwhile, aboard the colony ship Endeavor, Captain Gary Thompson was leading humanity's largest evacuation operation in history. His ship carried 50,000 people from Earth's outer colonies, along with all their essential equipment and supplies. The passengers were not refugees fleeing in panic. They were carefully selected colonists, each one chosen for specific skills needed to build a new civilization. Engineers, doctors, teachers, farmers, scientists, and artisans filled the passenger compartments. "Captain Thompson," his navigation officer called out, "we have reached the coordinates. The advanced team has confirmed that the target system is perfect for our needs." Gary looked at the star map showing their destination. It was a system with 7 planets, 3 of which could support human life without any modifications. The system was rich in rare minerals, had plenty of space for expansion, and was completely unknown to the Council. "Begin the landing sequence," Gary ordered. "Let's give these people their new home." Dr. Helen Carter stood in the main laboratory of humanity's most secret research facility. The station was built inside a hollow moon in an unexplored system, hidden from any alien sensors that might be looking for human activity. For 20 years, Helen had been working on a project that the Council claimed was impossible. They said that resource extraction from dead worlds could never be profitable. They insisted that manufacturing in space required too much energy to be practical. They declared that terraforming could only be done with their expensive technology. Helen had proved them wrong on every count. Dr. Carter, her research partner, Kevin Brooks, said as he reviewed the latest test results, "The new extraction process is showing 400% better efficiency than anything the Council uses. We can pull rare minerals from asteroid fields at a fraction of their costs." "And the manufacturing systems?" Helen asked. "Even better. Our automated factories can produce complex components using only solar energy and raw materials. No expensive fuel, no rare elements, no dependency on Council supply chains." Helen smiled as she looked at the displays showing their progress. Humanity was not just leaving Council space. They were building the foundation for a completely independent civilization. They would have their own resources, their own technology, their own worlds. The Council had always controlled other species by making them dependent on alien technology and trade networks. They provided just enough help to keep everyone reliant on their systems, but never enough to let anyone become truly independent. Humans had pretended to be grateful for this arrangement while secretly developing alternatives to every single Council service. Now they were ready to cut all ties and prove that they could do everything better on their own. "How long before we can begin full-scale operations?" Helen asked. "The manufacturing facilities will be ready in 4 months," Kevin replied. "The resource extraction sites should be operational in 6 months. The terraforming equipment will take about a year to deploy fully." "Perfect. By the time the Council realizes what we're doing, we'll already be completely self-sufficient." Commander Chen finally decided to investigate the mysterious human departures, personally. He took his patrol ship to the abandoned colony on Kepler 7 and conducted a thorough scan of the empty settlement. What he found made him deeply uncomfortable. The humans had not left in panic or haste. They had dismantled and removed every piece of valuable equipment. They had taken all their advanced computers, manufacturing tools, and research materials. They had even removed the power cores from their energy systems. "This was planned," he told Krell-Knox as they walked through the empty streets. "They knew exactly what they were doing." "But why go to such effort?" his partner asked. "If humans simply wanted to consolidate their colonies, they could have left the infrastructure for other species to use." Alex examined the empty buildings more carefully. The humans had not just taken their equipment, they had also removed anything that might give aliens insight into their technology or capabilities. It was as if they were trying to hide their true level of advancement. "I think we need to report this to Council Intelligence," Alex said. "Something about this whole situation feels wrong." Science Officer Mira Santos stared at the long-range scanner readings with growing confusion. 2 years had passed since humanity withdrew from the Galactic Council, and something was very wrong with what she was seeing. Earth's entire star system appeared to be completely empty of intelligent life. Mira was half human and half Altarian, which made her an outsider in both cultures, but gave her unique insights that pure-blooded species often missed. Her human side understood how humans thought and planned. Her Altarian heritage gave her the advanced analytical abilities that her red-furred ancestors were famous for. "Captain Torval," she called to her Vraxian commanding officer, "I need permission to conduct a detailed survey of the Sol system. These readings don't match what we should expect from a human withdrawal." Captain Torval's snake-like body coiled around his command chair as he considered her request. His scales shifted from green to yellow, showing mild interest. "What exactly are you seeing, Science Officer Santos?" "According to our sensors, Earth shows no signs of industrial activity, no communication signals, and no orbital traffic. For a species of 8 billion individuals, this level of silence is impossible unless something catastrophic happened." The captain's scales darkened to orange, indicating concern. "You think the humans might have suffered some kind of disaster, a plague or natural catastrophe?" "That's what we need to find out," Mira replied. "But I have another theory that might be more troubling." 3 days later, Mira's survey ship approached Earth's solar system. What she found there made her question everything the Council thought they knew about humanity. The planet looked normal, from a distance, with its blue oceans and white clouds. But as they got closer, the details became strange. The massive cities that had housed billions of people were still there, but they were empty. The orbital stations still floated around the planet, but they contained no life. The industrial facilities on the moon were intact, but completely silent. "This is impossible," her Zephyrian pilot, Nexkara, said, as his gray fingers danced over the scanner controls. "A population of 8 billion people cannot simply vanish without leaving traces." Mira studied the readings more carefully. Something about the abandoned human infrastructure bothered her, but she could not immediately identify what was wrong. "Take us down to the surface. I want to examine one of their cities directly." They landed in what had once been called New York, a massive human settlement with towering metal and glass structures reaching toward the sky. The streets were empty, but clean. The buildings were intact, but hollow. Everything looked perfect, as if the humans had simply walked away one day and never returned. Mira walked through the empty streets with a portable scanner, taking readings of everything she found. The buildings contained furniture, clothing, and personal belongings, as if people had left in a hurry. But there were no signs of panic, no evidence of conflict, no indication of disease or disaster. "Officer Santos," Nexkara called from his position near a large office building. "You need to see this." Mira joined him at the entrance to what appeared to be a government facility. The doors were locked, but her scanner could penetrate the walls and reveal what was inside. The building was completely empty. Not just of people, but of everything. No computers, no furniture, no equipment of any kind. "That's strange," Mira said. "Why would they remove all the equipment but leave personal belongings in residential areas?" She began scanning other large buildings and discovered the same pattern everywhere. Homes and small businesses still contained normal items that people might abandon in a quick evacuation. But government facilities, research centers, manufacturing plants, and military installations had been completely stripped of everything valuable. This was not an evacuation, Mira told Nexkara as the evidence became clear. This was a planned relocation operation. The humans took everything important and left behind only what they wanted us to find. Over the next week, Mira's team surveyed the entire solar system. They found abandoned colonies on Mars, empty mining stations in the asteroid belt, and silent research facilities on the moons of Jupiter. In every case, the pattern was the same. Residential areas looked like people had left in a hurry, but industrial and scientific facilities had been carefully emptied of everything useful. "They're not hiding on Earth," Mira realized as she compiled her final report. "They never intended to stay here after withdrawing from the Council. This whole system is just a decoy to make us think they went home to sulk." Meanwhile, far from Council space, Admiral Kane Mitchell stood on the bridge of humanity's newest flagship. The vessel was 3 times larger than anything in the Council fleet and equipped with technologies that aliens had never seen before. "Admiral," his communications officer, Lieutenant Sarah Bell, reported, "we have established contact with Colony Group 7. Captain Rodriguez confirms that the settlement on New Terra is ready to begin full industrial operations." Kane nodded with satisfaction as he looked at the star chart showing humanity's growing territory. In 2 years, they had established 47 colonies across 12 star systems. Each colony was carefully chosen for its strategic value and resource potential. Each settlement was designed to be completely self-sufficient within 5 years. "What about the mining operations in the Kepler sector?" Kane asked. "Production is ahead of schedule," Sarah replied. "Dr. Foster's new extraction techniques are producing rare minerals at 10 times the rate of conventional council methods. We now have enough raw materials to build 200 new ships per month." Kane smiled as he thought about the Council's reaction when they discovered the truth. They had dismissed humanity as a minor agricultural species that could barely maintain a few simple colonies. They had no idea that humans were building an industrial and military capacity that would soon rival their own. Dr. Helen Carter was putting the finishing touches on humanity's greatest achievement. The terraforming facility on New Hope was nearly ready to begin converting dead worlds into garden paradises in a fraction of the time that Council technology required. Dr. Carter, her assistant Mark Johnson, called excitedly, "The atmospheric processors are showing perfect efficiency. We can transform a barren planet into a livable world in just 18 months. Helen watched the massive machines working to reshape the atmosphere of a lifeless rock. Within 2 years, this dead world would have breathable air, fertile soil, and flowing water. The Council claimed that such rapid terraforming was impossible without their expensive equipment and rare materials. "How many worlds can we process simultaneously with our current resources?" Helen asked. "At least 20, Mark replied. "And once the additional facilities come online, we could terraform 50 worlds at the same time." 50 worlds. The Council had terraformed less than 200 planets in their entire 1,000-year history. Humanity was preparing to double that number in a single decade. Back in Council space, Mira Santos presented her findings to the Intelligence Committee. The group of alien officials listened with growing concern as she explained what she had discovered in human territory. "You are suggesting that humanity staged an elaborate deception," Committee Chairman Zextal said, his crystalline body flashing red with disbelief. "That they abandoned their entire home system just to mislead us about their true intentions." "That's exactly what I'm suggesting," Mira replied firmly. "Everything we found indicates a carefully planned operation designed to make us believe they had given up and gone home. But humans don't abandon valuable infrastructure unless they have something better waiting for them." "Where could they have gone?" asked General Vaxmore, the Altarian military representative. "We monitor all the inhabited systems in this sector. Humans cannot simply disappear." "They didn't go to inhabited systems," Mira explained. "They went to uninhabited ones. Our surveys indicate that humans have been exploring and mapping uncharted regions for decades while pretending to be grateful junior partners in the Council." The committee members exchanged worried looks. If humans had truly established independent colonies beyond Council space, it would represent a significant shift in galactic power balance. A species with 8 billion individuals and advanced technology could become a major threat if they decided to compete with the Council. "What do you recommend?" Chairman Zextal asked. "We need to locate their new territories immediately," Mira replied. "We need to understand what they're building out there and determine whether they pose a threat to Council interests." "And if they do pose a threat?" General Vaxmore asked. Mira paused before answering. Her human heritage made her reluctant to recommend action against her own species, but her duty to the Council was clear. "Then we need to act before they become too powerful to control." Unknown to the Council Committee, their conversation was being monitored by Captain Lisa Wright of Human Intelligence. The advanced listening devices that humans had secretly installed throughout Council facilities were providing real-time information about alien plans and reactions. "Admiral Mitchell," Lisa transmitted to the human fleet, "Council intelligence has figured out that we're not hiding on Earth. They're going to start looking for our real colonies soon." Kane's response came back immediately. "Understood. How much time do we have?" Chairman Vextar's crystal body flashed bright red with shock as the massive human ship appeared on the Council's main view screen. 5 years had passed since humanity withdrew from galactic society, and the vessel that now approached the Council station was unlike anything they had ever seen before. The ship was enormous, easily 3 times the size of the largest Council dreadnought. Its hull gleamed with a strange metallic finish that seemed to bend light around it. Energy readings showed power levels that should have been impossible for any known technology. Most disturbing of all, it had appeared without warning, bypassing all the detection systems that protected Council space. "Sir," the Zephyrian sensor operator called out nervously, "the vessel is requesting permission to dock. They identify themselves as the human diplomatic ship New Dawn." "Human?" General Raxborn snarled, his red fur standing up with anger. "Impossible! Humans don't have ships like that. They can barely build cargo haulers." Ambassador Karen Brooks walked calmly through the Council station's corridors, ignoring the stares and whispers of the alien beings she passed. Her simple blue uniform looked plain compared to the elaborate costumes worn by the other species, but she carried herself with quiet confidence that had not been there 5 years earlier. Behind her walked Captain David Stone, a tall man with gray hair and steady eyes. His presence alone made many of the aliens uncomfortable. There was something different about these humans, something that suggested they were no longer the grateful junior partners who had once begged for Council membership. "Ambassador Brooks," Chairman Vextar said as she entered the Great Hall, "this is an unexpected surprise. We were told that humanity had withdrawn from galactic affairs." "We did withdraw," Karen replied simply. "Now we're back. But not as the same species that left 5 years ago." The hall filled with confused murmurs as the alien delegates tried to understand what she meant. Karen waited patiently for silence before continuing with her prepared statement. 5 years ago, humanity withdrew from the Galactic Council because we felt that we were not being treated as equal partners. We were restricted to minor roles, given limited access to advanced technology, and expected to be grateful for whatever scraps the Council was willing to share. Trade Minister Kolnax interrupted angrily. "Humans were given everything they needed to survive in space. Your species lacked the development to handle more advanced responsibilities." "That was your mistake," Karen said calmly. "You assumed that because we were new to galactic society, we were also primitive and incapable of growth. You never bothered to test those assumptions." She gestured to Captain Stone, who activated a portable display device. The air above them filled with images that made the assembled aliens gasp in amazement. Massive human cities on dozens of worlds, industrial facilities that dwarfed anything in Council space, fleets of advanced ships moving through star systems that the Council had never explored. "During our years as Council members, we were not just learning from you," Karen explained. "We were studying every piece of technology you shared, improving upon your designs, and developing our own innovations. While you thought we were grateful students, we were actually conducting the largest research and development project in galactic history." President Nicole Adams appeared on the main view screen, broadcasting from her office on New Terra. The transmission itself was a demonstration of human advancement, since faster-than-light communication without quantum relay networks was supposed to be impossible. "Greetings, Chairman Vextar and honored delegates," Nicole said with a warm smile. "I am speaking to you from New Terra, the capital world of the Human Federation. As you can see, reports of our withdrawal from galactic civilization have been greatly exaggerated." The image expanded to show the view from Nicole's office window. Outside, a magnificent city stretched to the horizon, filled with gleaming towers and flowing traffic patterns. In the sky above, massive ships moved through the atmosphere with grace and power. What you are seeing is just one of 47 worlds that humanity has settled in the past 5 years, Nicole continued. Each one is completely self-sufficient, with its own industrial base, defensive systems, and terraforming capabilities. Chairman Vextar's crystal body flashed through several colors as he struggled to process this information. This is impossible. Our surveys showed that human colonies had been abandoned. Earth itself appeared to be empty. Earth is empty, Karen confirmed. We evacuated our entire home system as part of our relocation program. What you found there were the shells of our old civilization, left behind when we moved to something better. Dr. Amy Wright appeared on a secondary screen, speaking, from humanity's primary research facility. Behind her, massive laboratories buzzed with activity as human scientists worked on projects that pushed the boundaries of known science. For 30 years, we studied every piece of alien technology that the Council shared with us, Amy explained. Your faster-than-light drives, your energy systems, your manufacturing techniques, your terraforming equipment. In every case, we found ways to improve upon your designs. She gestured to a display showing technical specifications that made the alien scientists in the audience lean forward with interest. Our new hyperspace drives are 40% more efficient than Altarian military engines. Our fusion reactors produce 3 times more energy than Zephyrian power plants. Our manufacturing systems can produce complex components at half the cost of Vraxian factories. Impossible, Dr. Silthera hissed, her snake-like body coiling with agitation. Humans lack the scientific background to achieve such advances. Your species has only been in space for 200 years. 200 years of intensive learning, Amy replied. While you were competing with each other and guarding your secrets, we were studying everything openly shared and finding better solutions. We approached your technologies with fresh perspectives, unconstrained by the assumptions that limited your own development. Captain Greg Morrison, son of the diplomat who had announced humanity's withdrawal, appeared on another screen. Behind him, the bridge of his exploration ship showed technology that was clearly beyond anything the Council possessed. In the past 5 years, human exploration fleets have mapped over 200 star systems, Greg reported. We have discovered resources, trade routes, and habitable worlds that the Council never knew existed. The galaxy is much larger and richer than your maps indicate. Where did you get the ships for such extensive exploration? General Raxborn demanded. Human manufacturing capabilities were always limited. Were limited, Greg corrected. Past tense. Our new automated manufacturing systems can produce a complete starship in less than 30 days, using only raw materials and solar energy. We currently have over 3,000 vessels in our exploration and colonization fleets. 3,000 ships. The entire Council fleet consisted of less than 800 vessels, and most of those were old designs that had not been updated in decades. The humans had built a space navy that outnumbered the combined forces of all Council species. This is still impossible, Trade Minister Kolnax insisted desperately. Where did you get the resources for such massive construction projects? Your species never controlled any major mining operations. Karen smiled at the question. We didn't need your mining operations. Dr. Foster's team developed resource extraction techniques that can harvest rare minerals from asteroid fields and dead planets at costs far below traditional mining methods. We have access to more raw materials than we can use. The economic implications hit the alien delegates like a physical blow. The Council's entire power structure was based on controlling access to rare resources and advanced manufacturing capabilities. If humans could produce everything they needed independently, it would undermine the foundation of galactic civilization. "What do you want from us?" Chairman Vexistar asked, his crystal body now pulsing with nervous energy. "We want what we always wanted," Karen replied. "Recognition as equals. 5 years ago, we asked to be treated as partners rather than junior members. You refused, so we left and built our own civilization. Now we're offering you a chance to join us as equals." "Join you?" General Raxborn laughed harshly. "Humans asking the Council to join them? This is ridiculous." "Is it?" Karen asked. "Let me show you something else." Captain Stone activated another display, this one showing a detailed analysis of Council territory and resources. The data was disturbingly accurate, including information that should have been classified at the highest levels. "Your current civilization controls approximately 1,200 star systems," Karen explained. "Your combined population is roughly 40 billion individuals across 7 major species. Your industrial output has been declining for the past 50 years due to resource depletion and technological stagnation." She gestured to the human data for comparison. Human civilization now controls 200 star systems with a population of 12 billion individuals. Our industrial output is already equal to yours and growing at 20% per year. Our exploration fleets are discovering new resources faster than we can exploit them. The mathematics were undeniable. If current trends continued, humanity would surpass the Council in every measure of civilization within a decade. The emergency session of the Galactic Council had been going on for 18 hours, and Chairman Vexitar's crystal body flickered between colors as the alien delegates argued among themselves. Some wanted to accept humanity's offer of partnership. Others demanded military action against the upstart species. A few suggested trying to ignore the humans and hope they would go away. "We cannot simply pretend that humanity has not changed," Science Minister Dr. Silthara said, her long Vraxian body coiled tightly with stress. "Their technological capabilities now exceed our own in almost every category. Ignoring them will not make this problem disappear." General Raxborn's red fur bristled with anger. "I refuse to bow down to a species that was delivering food supplies to our military bases just 5 years ago. Humans are newcomers to space. They cannot be allowed to dictate terms to civilizations that have existed for thousands of years. Pride will not protect us from their superior technology." Trade Minister Kolnax replied grimly. "If humans can truly produce everything they need independently, our entire economic system becomes irrelevant. We must find a way to work with them or risk being left behind completely." While the Council debated, Commander Laura Davis sat in the captain's chair of her patrol ship, watching a very different kind of demonstration unfold. Her vessel was the newest design in humanity's fleet, equipped with defensive systems that the Council had never seen before. "Commander," her weapons officer, Lieutenant Tom Clark, reported, "the Council patrol fleet has arrived as scheduled, 5 heavy cruisers and 10 escort vessels. They're demanding that we withdraw from this system immediately." Laura smiled calmly. "Standard response, Lieutenant. Inform them that this system is now under human protection and they are welcome to leave peacefully." The Council fleet had come to test humanity's claims about their advanced capabilities. What they found was a single human ship that seemed completely unimpressed by their overwhelming numerical advantage. "Human vessel," came the angry voice of Captain Vokhtar, commander of the Altarian lead ship. "You are outnumbered 15 to 1. Surrender immediately or we will open fire." Captain Vokhtar, Laura replied pleasantly. "I have no desire for conflict. However, if you choose to engage us, you should know that this demonstration is being broadcast live to Council headquarters. Your superiors will see exactly what happens next." "One ship cannot defeat an entire fleet," Vokhtar snarled. "I don't care what tricks you humans think you've learned." "Very well," Laura said sadly. "Lieutenant Clark, activate defensive systems. Do not return fire unless absolutely necessary." The Council ships opened fire simultaneously, sending enough energy weapons and missiles to vaporize a small moon. The beams and projectiles struck Laura's ship and simply disappeared, absorbed by defensive shields that converted the incoming energy into additional power for her vessel. "Impossible," Captain Vokhtar whispered, as his scanners showed that the human ship had not only survived the attack, but had actually grown stronger from absorbing the energy. "Our turn," Laura said quietly. She did not fire weapons at the attacking ships. Instead, she activated a system that the Council had never encountered before. Invisible energy fields reached out from her vessel and simply shut down the alien ship's engines, weapons, and defensive systems. Within seconds, 15 Council warships were floating helplessly in space, completely disabled but unharmed. Their crews were safe, their ships were intact, but they were as helpless as children. "How?" Vokhtar asked in a stunned voice. "We studied your technology for 30 years, Laura explained patiently. "We know exactly how your systems work and exactly how to neutralize them without causing permanent damage. We have no desire to hurt you, but we will not allow you to hurt us either." The demonstration was being watched live by every major government in Council space. The message was clear. Humanity's defensive capabilities were so advanced that Council weapons were completely ineffective against them, while human technology could disable alien ships without even causing casualties. Back on New Terra, President Nicole Adams was meeting with Dr. Nathan Price, humanity's leading expert on alien biology and medicine. The discussion they were having would soon shock the entire galaxy. "Dr. Price," Nicole said as she reviewed his latest research reports, "are you certain about these findings?" "Absolutely certain, Madam President," Nathan replied. "Our medical research has identified cures for 17 major diseases that have plagued alien species for centuries. The Zephyrian genetic plague that has killed millions of their people. The Altarian neurological disorder that affects 30% of their population. The Vraxian reproductive problems that have caused their birth rates to decline. And we can synthesize these treatments using our current manufacturing capabilities. Not only can we produce them, but we can do so at costs far below what alien pharmaceutical companies charge. A treatment that currently costs a year's wages for the average alien worker could be produced for the equivalent of a day's pay." Nicole leaned back in her chair as she considered the implications. Humanity now possessed not only superior technology and industrial capacity, but also medical knowledge that could save millions of alien lives. It was another card in the complex game of galactic diplomacy. How did we achieve these breakthroughs? "So quickly?" she asked. "Fresh perspective," Nathan explained. "Alien researchers had been studying these problems for centuries using the same approaches and assumptions. We brought human medical knowledge and combined it with alien physiology data. Many of the solutions were actually quite simple ones. We looked at them from a different angle." Meanwhile, Ambassador Karen Brooks was conducting private negotiations with individual Council species who were beginning to realize that their old way of doing things would not work in a galaxy where humans had become technological equals. "Ambassador," she said to the Zephyrian representative, Consul Hexenara, Humanity is prepared to share our cure for your genetic plague with your entire species. No charge, no restrictions, no political conditions. The gray-skinned alien's large black eyes showed amazement and suspicion. Why would you do this? What do you gain from helping us? We gain neighbors who are healthy and prosperous instead of desperate and dying, Karen replied simply. Healthy civilizations make better partners than struggling ones. We want to build relationships based on mutual benefit, not exploitation. Similar conversations were taking place with representatives from every major council species. Humanity was offering solutions to problems that had seemed impossible to solve, asking for nothing in return except recognition as equals. The effect on council politics was dramatic. Species that had supported military action against humanity suddenly found themselves reconsidering when offered cures for diseases that had killed their loved ones. Trade organizations that had wanted to exclude humans from galactic commerce realized that human manufacturing capabilities could provide goods at prices that would benefit everyone. General Raxborn found himself increasingly isolated as his own military advisors pointed out the obvious reality. "Sir," his intelligence chief, Colonel Dex Mora, said during a private briefing, "our analysis indicates that humanity's military capabilities are at least 50 years ahead of our own. Even if we united every council species in an alliance against them, our chances of victory would be essentially zero." "Then what do you recommend?" the general asked bitterly. "Accept their partnership offer before they decide they don't need us at all," Dex Mora replied. "Right now, they're asking to be equals. If we keep rejecting them, they might decide to become our superiors instead." Chairman Vextar called for a final council vote after 3 weeks of debate and negotiation. The Great Hall was packed with delegates from every member species, along with observers from dozens of minor civilizations who were watching to see how the galaxy's power structure would change. "The question before us is simple," Vextar announced. "Do we accept humanity's offer of equal partnership, or do we maintain our current governmental structure without human participation?" The vote was closer than many had expected, but the odd result was clear. By a margin of 62% to 38%, the Council chose to restructure itself to accommodate humanity as a full and equal partner. "The motion passes," Vextar declared. "The Galactic Council formally recognizes the Human Federation as an equal member with full voting rights, territorial sovereignty, and technological independence." Ambassador Karen Brooks stood to address the Assembly for the final time. "The Human Federation accepts this partnership with gratitude and hope for the future. We look forward to working together to explore the galaxy, develop new technologies, and build prosperity for all our species." As she spoke, Captain Greg Morrison's exploration fleet was already discovering its 15th new star system, each one containing resources and worlds that would benefit the entire galactic community. Dr. Amy Wright's research teams were developing innovations that would revolutionize transportation, communication, and energy production. Dr. Nathan Price's medical facilities were preparing to begin mass production of treatments that would save millions of alien lives.